Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. So, in previous classes, we have already covered the introduction to our GIS or Geographic Information System. What are the various components through which we can perform these GIS related different queries and those kind of things. What are the different operations which we can perform through various spatial and non-spatial tools, how we can interrelate those things, what are the different kinds of analysis we can go through with the use of these data sets. Okay, so now after studying all those things, we have with us the data exploration, how we can explore different kinds of data sets as far as the GIS is concerned. So if you go back through your previous lectures in which we have studied the various errors, various tools and techniques through which we can remove those errors, different overlay analysis, different topographical functions. So if you know through all these techniques, through spatial or non-spatial, we can explore this GIS data sets. So let's have a discussion about what is this data exploration. If you go through the literal meaning of data exploration, so it refers to the initial steps where the data analysis, in which the data analysis or analytics use the data visualization and the statistical technique which describe the dataset characterizations, such as their size, quality, maybe accuracy, in order to better understanding of the data sets. Okay, so while we are talking about the meaning of this data exploration, so the very initial step is to be familiar with the different analysis which are related to the maybe data visualization in case of GIS, or maybe different kinds of statistical tools, or you can say the non-spatial operations which through which we can know about the different characteristics of that particular data. We can know the spatial size of those data sets, what is the quantity and what is the amount of the accuracy. Okay, so that we can understand the data sets, the maps in better way. Okay, so these exploration techniques, they understand helps us to understand the nature of the data which we are using for any kind of things. Okay, so data exploration techniques, they include both the manual analysis as well as the automated, which is the software data exploration solutions. Okay, so we have both the exploration techniques which through which we can explore the data set. We can go for the manual analysis, we can go for the analysis which is based on the different softwares and different tools. Okay, so while we are talking about these data set which are based on either on the tools which are based on different softwares, or which are based on different manual methods. So we are matlab, they makes us easy to understand the relationship between different identities which we are taking into considerations, and we can also know about the structure of the data sets, the presence of the outlines which are available in different data sets, the distribution of different values in order to reveal the patterns and points of interest of a particular person. Also, it enables the data analyst to gain the greater insight about the raw data. So, if we go for any of the technique, whether it is manual or whether it is based on the software based exploration techniques, okay, so they helps us in exploring different kinds of properties or characteristics of the data sets which may be related to know about the relationship among the different entities. Okay, like you have studied ki through different topological functions we can know about the containment or the relationship between two features in terms of their distance or in terms of their containment. Okay, we can know about the structure of the data sets, what kind of structure a particular data is having. Also we can know about the patterns of different phenomena. Okay, so whatever the raw data is available with us, so different properties we can know about these exploration techniques. And we can also with the help of these tools we can also understand the raw data in better way. So these are the some qualities of data exploration through which we can understand the raw data in a better way. Okay, so data is often gathered in large unstructured volumes from various sources of data, and the data analyst must find first the understanding and the development of comprehensive view of the data before extracting any kind of information related to the further analysis or other analysis which we want to perform from that data set. So initially when we gather data, okay, for example we are going to go for a mapping of a forested area. Okay, so in forest we have lots many information related to the forest, related to its types, related to its density, related to the habitats inside that, related to the roads, settlements inside it. Now we will gather all the information, okay, which will be very large. Also it will be unstructured, whatever information we are getting in the field or on the basis of other data sets, we are just collecting it. And then based on these exploration techniques or based on the data selection techniques, we can later on decide ki what is relevant for the studies, how we can make it more analytical, so that the different stages ki this is the mandatory one, this is little bit less mandatory, and this is not mandatory, so we can exclude that data sets. That kind of analysis can be done easily. Okay, then comes the different analytical or exploration related tools. So we can call them the data exploration tools. So I told you that there are two basic tools available while we are going for this data exploration. So what are those tools? They are manual data exploration methods as well as the software based data analysis method. Okay, so when we are talking about the manual data exploration methods, that means we are entailing either writing scripts to analyze raw data, or manually we are filtering the data through different spreadsheets. Okay, so while we are talking about the manual exploration methods, we are talking about the historical data which we are collecting from the different forest departments, since we have taken a here as an example of forest department. So the data which are historically available with different departments of forest, related to the scripts, related to the different entities which are maybe entered in the form of spreadsheets. So those are the manual datas which are available in either of the form, either in the form of scripts or maybe in the form of different kinds of spreadsheets. So we collect all those things, we put them into a single platform, and then we decide ki what has to be taken for different kinds of operations or uses, or what data has to be discarded. Okay, then we have the second option, that is automated data exploration or software based data exploration tools, where the data visualization softwares helps the different types of scientists, or or for us, like we are working on something like forest. So based on the different software, different modeling techniques, we are able to easily access the data and perform different operations onto those data with the help of softwares. For example, we have collected a satellite image, okay, of a area. Then we perform different kinds of operations on those images. We do go for rectification of those sheets. We go for different models like NDVI for density calculation, maybe supervised or unsupervised classification for the different kinds of classes which are available on that satellite image. We go for those kind of exploration of different tools and techniques which are based on the different data visualization related techniques using some kind of softwares. Okay, then graphical display of data such as maps, graphs, bar diagram, charts, scatter plots are valuable tools in case of visual data exploration. Okay, so now whatever outputs you are getting with the help of automated data exploration will be in the form of either maps, ठीक है ना. Whenever we go for digitizing of data sets, the end product we have to take out as a, we export the data and we get a gpg or pdf, okay, in the form of map. Or if you take an example of your excel sheets, if we go any kind of plus minus addition, we also try to plot those data sets in different form of graphical display of these data sets. Okay, we try to go for different charts, bar diagrams or scatter plots. Through that we can show in a one go that a particular area is having what is the distribution of a particular phenomena in a particular area. Getting it? So then we have a proper tool for manual exploration of data sets, as well as we have proper software for the software related analysis of the different data sets. Okay, so then why this data exploration is important? Okay, so because the human process visual data is better than the numerical data. Okay, if we have a book in which we have the description about the forest types of India, okay, and on the other hand we have a map or a graph or a pie chart which is showing the distribution of forest types of India. Okay, so what will give you a better representation of the forest types of India? Obviously the map, because by seeing that map we can easily say that in the Himalayan areas this type of forest is there, in the desertic areas this type of forest is there. Okay, which if we want a conclusion we need to study complete book. Okay, so human process of visual data better than the numerical or any other scripted data. So therefore it is extremely challenging for data scientists or different analysts to assign a meaning of thousands of rows and columns of data and points which communicate about different points. So if we represent those data in a form of map or in a form of graph, so obviously they will give us a better representation of different data sets. So data visualization in case of data exploration, it leverages the familiar visual cue such as different shapes, dimensions, colors, point line features can be, or that data analyst can effectively visualize and define the metadata and perform the data cleansing. Okay, so in case of the initial step of data exploration, it helps the data analyst or different people who are working with different data sets. So it helps or it enables them to better understand and visually identify the different anomalies and relationship that might otherwise go undetected. Okay, so what is the use of data exploration while we are talking about? Since we have a large amount of data sets, if we represent those data set in the form of rows, columns, or maybe in a scripted way, okay, so it may communicate different meanings to different peoples. But if we have a visualization of these data sets in terms of maps, in terms of graphs or charts, maybe these visual this representation of these data sets, they are better representatives in terms of their shapes, dimensions, the different colors through which we can identify the things in a better way. You can take an example of your topographical maps. Okay, they are giving you so much of information based on the use of different color symbology, which is being adopted, which has given by the Survey of India. And then the different symbols and conventional signs, which are very common and easy to predict. Okay, so based on those things, it can very effectively represent about the different datas and their metadatas, and they can perform the data representation in better way. Okay, so what we can say, we can say that this data exploration is acts like a initial stage where we can better understand and visually identify the different anomalies and relationships between different data sets. Okay, which may be very easy to identify if we have these data sets in a normal forms, in a form of book or in a form of other data stored data sets. Okay, but if it is in the visual format, obviously we can go for the better exploration as well as the identification of different characteristics of that data sets. Okay, now after this introductory talk, that what is this data exploration, what are the different types of these data exploration, we will come to the points that how we can represent these data exploration in terms of the GIS platform. Okay, so in case of GIS, we can go for the different kinds of manipulations where these data explorations can be performed in better way. Okay, so as I told you, the data exploration is the original data exploration. It allows the different researchers to examine the general trends in the data, to take a close look about the different data subsets and the relationship between these data sets. Okay, so in case of GIS, the data exploration takes an advantage of interactive and dynamically linked visual tools, which includes the maps, graphs, tables displayed in a multiple window and dynamically linked, so that the different records and their tables, their graphs can be automatically highlighted with the corresponding features. Okay, so in case of data exploration, the all the things about a particular feature, if you click on a feature, and you will get the information, you can explore the characteristics, all the characteristics of that feature by just clicking on the either attribute Okay, that is the non-spatial property or of the digitized map of that area. Okay, then through graphs we can show that, through bar diagrams we can show that this thing, we can also show through the scatter diagrams. Okay, we can also show that in a form of curves. We can also show these maps with the reference to the different populations by showing the different points onto that. Then we can also show these things in terms of uh, plotting different information on the graph form. And then we can also go for the different data manipulations while going for the exploration. Okay, so first comes the map based manipulation. Okay, now what does it mean? The maps, they are very important while we are talking about any kind of GIS operation or data exploration. Okay, so map based data manipulations, they generally include the data classification, the separations or the spatial aggregations, and the map comparison. Okay, so these kind of things can be done during map based data manipulation under the exploration data, GIS data exploration. So here we can go for the different kinds of classification of the data. We can also go for the aggregation of the data, and we can also compare 2, 3 or 5 maps as far as the different changes are concerned in a particular map. So first we can go for the map based data manipulation under the data exploration. Okay, so where we can perform the different classifications of the map, which may be included. If you are talking about the forest type, then maybe different forest types can be shown in a map, and it can represent the complete area in a better way. And suppose if we I want to know that in the area of Jaipur what is the forest type, in Ajmer what is the forest type, so I will just click on that district and I will get the information related to the forest type, the complete information. Or I will select for the Jaipur in its non-spatial attribute and I will get the things done. I can also compare these two districts, how Ajmer and maybe Jaipur is having differentiation among their forest type, or maybe Jaipur or Jaisalmer, what is the variation in the both the districts as far as their. I can go for the comparison also. I can go for the identification of different classes onto the map through the map manipulation techniques. Then we can also go for the data query. I told you in the initial time itself that we can also go for the attribute data query while we are going for this use of data exploration. Okay, so in data exploration, what does it mean, the data attribute data query? It means that an attribute data query can be done through which we can retrieve data subset by working with the attribute data. Okay, so now whatever map we are having, I told you in the very, if you go through your definition, in definition of GIS we will be understanding that there is an integration between spatial and non-spatial data. Now spatial data is your map data and the attribute data is your tabular data. Okay, so while we are talking about the attribute data query, we are talking about this tabular data which is created while we are doing mapping. So after mapping, when we want to retrieve data, suppose for the Ajmer or for some other district of Rajasthan, we will open the attribute table and we will select that particular attribute, and we'll get the data. So here we are talking about the query which we will perform onto the tables, which are interlinked with those map datas. Now the selected data subset can be simultaneously examined in the table and the displayed charts and linked to the highlighted features on the maps. Okay, so while we are querying, we can select for that attribute. It will be highlighted in the map as well as in the table. And if suppose we are having some chart, we it can be highlighted on all the things in a totality. Then the selected data subset can also be saved for further processing. Now whatever we have selected, suppose we want to plot that information onto the complete data set, we can go for that also by saving the processing. Okay, so the selected data subset can also be represented on the on the final output maps, whatever we are querying. We can also query through the SQL. In case of GIS, the SQL, this is a structured query language, where we can go for the querying of different things based on the relational database. Okay, so we can put up a command in your ArcGIS and one query related to SQL, and then we can have a data output in a form of selection of these things. We can also import and export, and we can join two tables with the help of primary and secondary keys, which we have studied while we were doing the non-spatial data structure study. Okay, so while we are exploring these data sets, we can also go for the interlinking of 2 3 tables in a same way using the SQL structured query language. We can go for different kinds of analysis. Okay, then we have the query expressions. Okay, we can go for the different kinds of queries which are related to the different expressions, which you can call the boolean connectors, which we have again studied in case of raster and vector data query. Okay, in while we were doing the analysis part. Okay, so through query expressions, we can also explore the different data sets where we can go for the and or nor or not functions, which we have already studied in our vector and raster data analysis. Now there are different types of operations also there, which through which we can go for the different exploration related data exploration related functions. Now they include the attribute data queries, they include the spatial data queries. Now attribute data queries, they begin with the complete data sets. Okay, a basic query operation is to select a subset, is to select a subset of particular area, where we can go for the merging of these two subset images, where we can remove the this thing. So these type of operations we can go through. Okay, so we can also go for a split option, where we can split a particular this attribute into 3 forms. Okay, so the types of operations may be performed on the subset of different records. We can add more records, we can subtract few records, we can go for the a smaller subset of 20 records out of a 50 record. So that also, for example, I'm giving you example again on the basis of forest. For example, In Rajasthan we have, or in other states we have 10, 12 districts. For example, I'm taking an example of Himachal. We have 12 districts. Okay, so I want only the information of maybe three districts to have a comparative analysis of, among the climate. Okay, so I have taken one district, Lahore Spiti, and one district Una. Okay, so there is a change in the climate. So from the data which I have stored in the table for 12 districts, I will subset only two districts data. That the kind of data manipulation, data exploration we can go through with the large amount of data sets. Getting it? So that is based on the type of operation where either I can go for a subsetting of those things. I can also go for the addition of one more district into those two districts which I have subsetted earlier. Okay, I can go for the subtraction of one districts from the 12 districts of these things. So that depends on the need of the time. Okay, so based on that we can go for the addition, subtraction, or further again addition of few things, or maybe subtraction of a smaller unit from a complete state. Okay, so that kind of analysis can also be performed while we are talking about these data exploration. So after that we can also go for the relational database queries, where works with the relational database can be performed. A query on the table not only selected data sets in the table but also selects the records of the success on the other tables. Okay, so in case of relational database query, we are not talking about the one table, but we are talking about the different tables which we have taken into consideration by linking those tables. Okay, so we can put queries onto the tables, and we can extract the information as per our need. Okay, so to query a relational database, we must be familiar with the overall structure of the database, where we assign keys in a relating tables. Okay, so you have to go through now your this relational database query which we have, or a relational database structure which we have studied in your non-spatial data interlinking, or the non-spatial data structure you have studied this relational database. Okay, where we have had a talk on different keys which we use to relate these data sets, this primary key, the secondary key, the foreign keys. Okay, so based on these keys we go for the interlinking of these data sets, and we go for the extraction, subtraction, or addition of different relational data sets, because one table is linked with other is with some first table. So based on what? Based on the different keys and elements, we are able to join these things. Then after the relational database queries, we can also go for the spatial data queries. Okay, in case of spatial data queries, the data which we are processing or retrieving the data are working on some spatial data, the maps which we have created. So here we may select a feature using the cursor, where you are digitizing, you have a cursor. Okay, so based on that cursor we can select for any spatial feature, and we can also go for the analysis which is based on their relationship between one to another feature. We can also go for the containment, the intersection, the proximity, the merging, the subsetting of different spatial features. Okay, so these all operations you have already studied in your spatial data structure and their analysis functions. Okay, so we can go for the spatial data queries, where we can based on the clicking of the cursor, we can go for the selection of different graphical features or different spatial features, and based on the selection of these features we can also go for different kinds of analysis, where we can put up a query related to their containments into one another, related to their intersection, related to their proximity with each other. Okay, then we can also go for the raster data query. Okay, in case of raster data query, the cell value and the features we can select. Okay, so in case of raster data, we are talking about the different images. Okay, so in image, every feature is having its own reflectance values. Okay, so based on the cell value, based on the reflectance value, based on the use of interpretation keys and elements, we can predict that this feature may be having this feature class. Okay, so or we can have a query key if the value is maybe 20, so what this feature is denoting. Okay, so based on that we can go for the identification of the various raster data query related options or data exploration also. So I told you ki in general data exploration, it helps us in identifying the different characteristics or the properties of different data sets. Okay, so if in general we go through the types of these data exploration, it has two basic types. But in case of GIS, okay, in case of GIS, we can perform different kinds of data queries which are related to the different exploration, data exploration related activities. Here we have the queries which are related to the first thing, which are related to the measurement, related to the measurement queries. Okay, first is the queries which are related to the data manipulation, which is based on the spatial data. So, data based or map based data manipulation is the first thing which we can, through which we can explore the different data sets. Then the second is the data attribute query. Through data attribute query, we can also explore these data sets. To SQL based queries, we can also go for the exploration related queries. Then the third one is the type of operation which we are operating onto that, where we can go for the selection, where we can go for the splitting of data set, addition of something and subtraction of something on the data sets. Then we can also go for the relational database queries while we are going for these exploration techniques. I told you how. Then we can also go for the spatial data query directly, where we can analyze different kinds of relationship and through queries, whether they are containing, intersecting, proximating, merging, what kind of things are there. Then we can also go for the functions which are related to the raster data query, where we are focusing on the different values of the different pixels into the different satellite images, aerial photographies. So based on that also we can go for the data exploration. So with this, I think I have tried to tell you in a very simple way, or in a very easy way to understand what is data exploration, what are the different types of data exploration, and in GIS platform using different spatial and non-spatial data sets, where we have raster and vector data set in terms of your spatial data set, and where we have attribute data, relational database models, SQL related models. Okay, so those kind of things are there in your non-spatial data sets. So how we can go for the different types of queries using this spatial and non-spatial data sets for different kinds of data exploration operations. So with this, I think I have tried to give you the maximum about the data exploration and how we can go for these data exploration techniques using spatial non-spatial data sets. Still, if you have any queries, I will you can go to the directly onto the Chang's book. There you will get a complete chapter on to data exploration, and you can study through that. And if you find still any query, you can drop me a mail or you can call me directly. And with this, I'm ending this data exploration chapter here itself. And now you all can appear for your quiz through your LMS. Okay, thank you.